Well, hello, everybody. What's up? It's your friend James Shaw. Trust you're doing okay. Happy Wednesday to you. We are doing what we like to do, talking to agents that do amazing things. And I've had the joy of getting to know our guest today over the last couple of years. Erica West is one of the most dynamic and wonderful people I've ever come across. And today you're going to learn from her because she's doing something that not a lot of people are doing, and she's done this in a really short amount of time. So we're excited to learn from you, Erica. Will you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, where you're from, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Erica West. My business is originally started in Southeast Michigan, where I'm from. And I recently just moved to San Diego, my favorite place. And I am working out the dynamic between owning, share in both markets and how to balance the two right now. So that's currently where I'm at with that.
I love it. You're from Michigan. Did you go to Western or Central?
Central.
Central Michigan. You went to Central Michigan.
Come on.
I couldn't remember. I'm sorry. You went to Central Michigan. I went to Ball State. So we have two Mac people here. We have Maction on the pivot call today, which is great. Okay, so I want to rewind and set this up a little bit because it's not like you've been selling real estate for 10 years. You, if I remember this right, correct me if I'm wrong, did you not get your license like March of 2020, like the pandemic hits and you get your license? Isn't that basically what happened?
Exactly. Okay. I always find it hard talking about myself like this, but yeah, I got my license in March of 2020, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to sell real estate. And then the world shut down and I had no idea what to do. I had never even bought a house myself. I really had no idea what I was doing. And so I just started coming on the pivot calls and KW Connect and Zoom calls and trying to learn how to sell real estate from my house.
That's wild. Did you get your license, was this after you graduated from Central Michigan, then you decided to get into real estate?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
So my dad's an investor and he encouraged me to get my license and then it turned into a career.
Yes, no, it certainly has. It's turned into more than a career. You've built something really cool. So 2020, you get licensed and then your office closes and you're in Michigan. So it was a process in Michigan, right? That their pandemic rules and what they did lasted longer than some other places. Right. How did you do in 2020? What was your business like that year? Your very first, 9 months or so?
My first 9 months, I ended up not selling a single house until September. And then I ended up, I believe it was 10 sales my first year. But
all of them after September or later?
Correct. Yeah.
So because you have a shutdown, so you're learning everything you possibly can. I imagine your dad helped you with probably doing some contracts with you. Yes?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, you should, right? He's an investor, and so he's going to, do some business with his daughter. Of course he is, but you still had 10 deals. Okay, in 2020. 2021 comes along, and what happens for you then?
Okay. And then I did 36 transactions
in 1 year.
Yeah.
But you didn't get them all from dad.
No.
Right.
No.
That's important to realize because I don't want people to think, well, she's just getting fed by her father. That's not what's happening here. Right. You're doing hard work.
Yeah.
How'd you get those 36 deals in 2021? Yeah, go ahead.
I did a lot of open houses. A lot of for sale by owners were my best friends. And then just really tapping into database, Sphere. And it was, I think 12 were for sale by owners. So I was really, really taking hold of that. That was the most fun for me. There are people that are raising their hands. They want to sell their house. And I would go on one FSBO appointment a day. And they weren't like listing appointments, but I was learning different ways to convert them and really getting in touch with like that type of work, which I find really beneficial for people that are just starting out in the business.
Have you always been a take action person? Has that always just kind of been who you are?
Yeah, for sure.
What advice would you give somebody that sits on the sidelines a little bit and wants to get everything kind of perfect and figured out?
Yeah. So I would figure out where do you shine? For me, I'm a high I, a high D. I love to talk. I love to be around people. I love energy. So open houses are great for someone that likes belly to belly, face to face, people walking in, warm and fuzzies, right? And I honestly feel like you just got to figure out three different things you can do to get business. I love open houses. I love for sale by owners. I love social media and I love my Sphere. Now that's 4. But anyways, the problem is that when you're first getting your license, you're chasing a ton of different rabbits. You're not going to get any of them. You're like trying to do expireds, you're trying to do for sale by owners, you're trying to door knock, and you're doing half at all of them, and you're not doing really well at anything. So it's like, just try to figure out what you're good at. And for me, it's belly to belly, open houses, networking, face-to-face interactions. And that's kind
So
of
that's
where
what you're doing. You're getting in front of as many people as possible, and it
Correct.
worked. What's interesting is you're talking about you have 4 sources. So Vicky, who you know, who worked with the publishing team to get the update to the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, did the research on it and talked to Gary's mastermind group, Gary Keller's mastermind group, and found that 82% of their business came from 4 sources. So it wasn't chase everything. It was kind of chase your big rocks. Okay, so you do 36 deals in 2021. You're on the pivot call all the time. You come to all the in-person events we do and all that kind of stuff. 2022 comes, we see what do we find out? Like a 20% decrease in business. And your 2022 was just fun. Tell us about what happened for you in 2022.
So I'm very proud to say I maintained my business. I did 36 again. But 6 months of the year, I was 2,000 miles away in Southern California, creating a new business while maintaining my previous business, which is really fun.
It's unbelievable is what it is. You've been in the business for 3 years, effectively. Last year, 2022, your GCI was $425,000. And most of that time, you were 2,000 miles away in San Diego. You were not in Michigan. Most of the business happened in Michigan. You had that business. You're working on building a business. Have you had a California closing yet?
I have one in escrow.
Okay, good. This is good. You even have to learn new terms. You don't even talk about in escrow in Michigan. You had to learn all new terms. Okay, so you've got your first one, and you've been in San Diego how long?
Oh, about 6 months. I spent the majority of December in Michigan, though, reviving that business too. So I'm just really learning the dynamic here. And I've realized that I overcomplicated it so much before I came out.
Well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean? Because you have experience. You built a business that's making $400,000 a year. So how did you overcomplicate it?
So I was trying to get every single piece of the pie figured out before I left, and none of it was making any sense to me. So actually, I decided to come to California. And to be honest with you, a little secret is I was just going to leave Michigan, come to California, start a new life, and be brand new. And I realized, actually, when I talked to our good friend Jason Abrams, he was like, "Why would you do that? Why would you leave what you spent years building to come somewhere brand new and just start from the ground, grinding all the way up again?" Okay, so I listened to him, and I worked out. I just needed a support system in Michigan that I could rely on, that brought the same type of energy to my clients, and that I could trust, honestly. And so I have 2 people there right now, Chris and Jen, who help take care of my clients. And it's really simple. Okay. So I still lead generate in Michigan 2 hours a day. Call my friends, family, past clients, people, talk to them, keep up with their life. We know how that goes. And I still convert clients. And then, for example, my buyer's agent, Chris, this is how we go. Okay. So I'll get the client and say, let's start up a consultation. So we'll all get on Zoom. I'll bring a professional mortgage lender in, right? Preferred lender. I'll bring Chris in, and we're giving them a big warm hug. We're all on Zoom. We're talking about what they want, their mortgage questions, what their timeline is, and we're all involved together. Okay, so they feel like they're really being taken care of by a whole team. And then I say, hey, listen, you're going to be talking to me the whole time, and you're going to be talking with Chris. We're going to establish a group chat. You're going to look at the properties with Chris. I'll run the comps. I'll do the paperwork. We're going to work all together, and you're going to be taken care of by multiple people at once. And people are excited about that. And they love Chris. He's great. You just need to find a support person back at home that brings that same energy. My clients love me because I have tons of energy. I'm warm-hearted. I love them. I care about them. I'm jumping out of the car. I'm so excited to see them when we're at a showing. And Chris brings that same energy. And I noticed that in him. And so that's how we take care of them. And then as far as listings go, okay, Jennifer will walk through the house, sit down, go through the comps, do the listing presentation. I'll set up the appointment, and then we'll crush it together. Okay. And then we work out compensation both ways. And it's really, really way more simple than you think. And people care about your procedures, your values, your systems more than they care about working with just only you directly. And they still work with you.
Yeah, nobody cares about you. They're hiring your systems, they're hiring your process, they're hiring your standards, they're hiring what you're about, and that's duplicatable. So that's what you've taught us here. Does anybody care that you're in San Diego and they're buying a house in outside of Detroit?
You know what? I cared. That was the problem. I cared. I was weird. If you're weird, it's going to be weird. But I ended up announcing it as an expansion. Hey, I now have an expansion division in San Diego, so I can help my people in Southern California still help my people in Michigan. Half the time, nobody knows where I'm at. Like, they don't know. And something that's interesting is if you think about it this way, a lot of the top producers, top selling agents, okay, where their time is worth a lot of money, they're not running lockboxes, dropping off flyers, showing properties all the time. This is how it's set up. So why do you need to be in that same state? You can be far away. And honestly, it's helped me do more business because I have to leverage now. And that was hard for me before, but now I have to leverage.
What have you learned about that process? Because it's hard for a lot of people. So what have you learned about leverage? Because obviously you can't do it. You've got your two salespeople, and then you've got, I think you're doing transactions like per transaction right now. You don't have a full-time transaction processor. Is that right?
Right. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I know. I have a hard time.
No, it's all good. We're not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. You made 425. I'm not worried about it. But the point is, though, you've got multiple leverage pieces. Like, you have to be willing to let go. What are some of the lessons you've learned there?
I've learned that, how do I say this? People can do as good as you. We all tend to think they're not going to do as good as us. They're not going to take care of our clients as well as we are. And that's not true, for one. And for two, if you have more energy, you're able to be better and service your clients better and be more present when you're talking to them and notice more. I mean, I have such a better relationship with my clients because I'm not running every which way. And when I talk on the phone with them, I'm having such great conversations with them, and it's easier to leverage out. And you just have to be very clear on your standards with the people that are taking care of your clients, right? And you have to meet with them and say, this is how we do it. This is how I want you to talk to them. We're saying I, we, team. You have to coach them through things. And then also invite them to do what you do to be better. I always invite Chris and Jen to be on the pivot calls. I invite them to be involved in coaching. I share what I do when I coach so that they can grow with me. And they always bring something different to the table too. I mean, you can't discount that other people are better at different things that you're not as good at, and they bring that to the table too.
There's so much good in here, and I hope people understand this is not about starting a team in another community. What Erica is teaching you is how to run a really successful business. Erica, you are an MREA in the making. The question is it 2023 or 2024 or 2025? But it's 3 years or less until you're grossing $1 million selling houses, which is just amazing to me. So there are some key nuggets in here I want to dive into, because what I heard you talk about was, first, you say you lead generate for 2 hours every single day in Michigan. So there's a lead gen component to it. The second thing is you talked about being in relationship with the right people. So there's a leverage component. And then I think the third component is you're clearly constantly working on growing yourself. You said you're on the pivot calls. You want your team on the coaching calls. You go to the in-person events. So you go to family reunion and all those different things. So there's those three components. So will you break those down for us? Talk about first, like, lead gen and how that's really the foundation of all of this.
Yeah, and it's funny you said that, because that's why I wore your shirt. This is my favorite.
I love the shirt. The shirt. If you know, you know. If you don't know, then too bad. But that's a great shirt. I love your shirt.
Well, this shirt is representative of where I'm at right now, right, in my San Diego business. And so essentially what this shirt is saying is, when your lead generation is consistent, okay, then your business will become consistent with your lead gen, and it'll start being easier. So the way I do lead gen is 2 hours a day in Michigan, non-negotiable. Like, you have to do it. And what it is, it's just calls. I'm calling, I'm checking in on people. Go look on Facebook, who's getting engaged, who has kids, where are their kids going to college? Like, did they just bake some amazing pie? To ask them about it. I mean, it's so funny. We trip up over, well, what do I say when I call them? I've had so many agents reach out after you made that post in the pivot thing and say, well, what do I say? Well, you feel weird about it because you haven't been in touch with them. Okay. When you're consistently in touch with someone, every time you call them, you're like, hey, how was that trip that you guys made to Europe last, like whatever. You always have a talking point. You're making notes in your CRM. And then the next time you, like, I had a client who is really into jujitsu. He had a jujitsu competition at the end of January. Just made a reminder in my phone. Hey, wish Nick a good luck with his jujitsu competition. Okay. It was that day, popped up on my phone. I didn't even have to remember it. I called him and wished him good luck. And I mean, he
That's
was
gold.
blown away.
Yeah.
I mean, truly blown away. It's just, remember things about people. They matter. Remember that they matter. The thing is we need to pay more attention to what we're doing than the result. Like, we're trying to figure out 5 steps ahead of someone. How do I get real estate out of this phone call? Like, that's not the way you talk to people. It's not how you care about someone and build a business, personally.
You didn't even have to remember he had this tournament. You just had to put it in your phone so your phone could remind you. That's using your CRM to help you. So you have to remember, but you do have to pay attention. So you're paying attention to your people. You're checking in on them. You're adding value to them, and you're doing that for 2 hours a day for Michigan. And then the shirt. What's fascinating about the shirt? If you look at the bottom of the shirt, I'm going to put you big screen in. If you look at the bottom of the shirt, it says 6 months, right? That's time frame is the time of effort before result, which is a thing I teach. You've been in San Diego for how long?
About 6 months.
And you've got your first one in escrow. Like, it gives me, I have the goosebumps right now, because you're just doing the right thing every day, getting up and getting after it. It hasn't come without frustration. You and I have had conversations around that. You've called me in frustration at times. So it hasn't been without frustration. Thank goodness you had the Michigan business to support you. So that's huge. Okay, so that's the lead gen part. You talked about the leverage piece a little bit earlier. Talk about how important mindset and education are to success for somebody.
Oh, absolutely. That's huge. If you are growing yourself, your business is going to grow. I mean, it's just like a domino effect. And honestly, it's like, so I'm a huge proponent of the law of attraction. And basically what that means is like energy attracts like energy. Okay. So we're all made up of atoms. We all vibrate at a certain level, and how you raise your vibration, you will attract other things that are vibrating at a higher level. Okay. So for me, coaching, being involved in Inspire, being involved in the pivot calls, reading books, doing things to grow myself is bringing my vibration to a higher level, which is magnetizing opportunities, new people, centers of influence, people that notice this magnetic energy that you have. They want to be around it. People want to be in your orbit. So when you start growing yourself, like, you will notice things that you've never even noticed before, opportunities, people that are important, people that you want to be around. You'll start latching onto information you would have ignored before, because you're growing and you're learning and you're realizing that there are so many little opportunities throughout life. And if you're growing yourself and you're paying attention to what's helping and feeding your growth, you're going to look out for more of that, and you're going to grow more, if that makes any sense.
It makes total sense. And I love that in this kind of market, you're investing even more of your time and energy and effort into growing, and it's paying off for you. So, all right, what's the pro tip you'd give somebody that you've learned now running this business 2,000 miles away while launching another one? And you want to give kind of just the biggest thing you've learned in that process to somebody? What is it?
Gosh, I would just say being present is so important. Kind of like I was mentioning earlier, how we tend to think 5 steps ahead of someone, or we've all done it where we've been talking to someone and we're like, this isn't going to lead to anything. And then you kind of check out. But there are so many opportunities and so many ways to impact other people and have that come back to you. It's the same with the law of attraction. And if you're present, you slow down, you listen, you're there. I just can't tell you how beautiful it is to actually be in the moment and to be understanding of what other people are going through. And then you're like, how can I help them? How can I help support them? And it'll just come back to you every single time. And honestly, to me, being present, that has been my word of the year, and just being there and stop thinking 5 steps ahead every single time and just being in the moment with people.
I love it. It's great. Actually, it reminds me of this book right here, which is The Practice of Groundedness, Brad Stulberg, which we talked about him on a pivot call recently, and that's exactly what he talks about. So it's good stuff. Erica, we're proud of you. Congratulations. Well done. Keep it going. Look, there's closings coming in San Diego, so they're happening. They're coming soon and very soon, and business will only continue to grow in both of those places. Thanks for sharing your tips with us. We're proud of you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I just love you guys, and I love this community so much. And if anyone wants to reach out, I'm on social media. Erica Moves Me. You can message me anytime. I love masterminding and talking to people. I know a lot of people were interested in how am I getting business in San Diego and how am I starting in a new area. And I really do want to touch on that really quickly because I had a lot of people reach out and ask. A couple of the things that I'm doing. I am involved in a lot of belly to belly things. So I'm doing like 2 book clubs a month with different people. I live in Ocean Beach, California. So I'm a part of the OB Women's Club. I go to an Ocean Beach networking group every single week. I'm in an investors meetup club. I go to one social event every single week. I have, I call it coffee or cocktails with someone in the community once a week. So I do a lot of belly to belly conversations and ways of touching people. I just wanted to touch on that because that was a huge question. A lot of people have reached out. But there's so many ways to get business by doing things that make you happy and meeting people that are kind of on that same wavelength and like the same things that you do. But anyways, I wanted to just touch on that really quick, but thank you so much for having me. I love you guys. I love the Pivot community, the Inspire community, and all my friends out there. I love you guys so much. You're a big part of my growth.
It's good advice. I mean, you don't get business by sitting at home and wishing you had more business. You don't get business by sitting there and thinking about how you should call somebody. You don't get business by thinking, boy, maybe I should door knock. You get business by doing the things that you want to do. And what I love what you said is do the stuff that makes you happy, that brings you joy. You're a face-to-face person, so you've joined networking groups, which, by the way, is what Gina and Rebecca Rivers did when they had to reinvent their business after Hurricane Andrew. They joined networking groups to meet people because you got to grow your database in a place you don't know people, and then you're picking people out to go meet with one-on-one. And I love you. I'm going to go to this many networking events. I'm going to meet this many people one-on-one. You set goals and standards around that so you know whether or not you're winning, and the business will come because of it. So do what Erica says, and you're going to be just fine. Erica, thanks again so much. I appreciate you, and thank you to everybody for watching. You know, our goal here inside of Pivot Shift Ahead and over in the Inspire Collective is to make you better and help your life grow and your business grow. And we do that by talking to great people like Erica. So here's the thing. If you're not on our morning call, we do a free mastermind call every morning at 8 o'clock Eastern. Jump on it. You can watch the recording if it's too early for you. Erica watches the recording sometimes, is on it live sometimes. This is 5 o'clock in the morning her time. So you can watch the recordings in Pivot Shift Ahead on Facebook and click featured, or join us at pivotshiftcall.com if you want to join live. That's the Zoom link, pivotshiftcall.com. And then if you like this stuff and want to go even deeper, then you can check out the Inspire Collective. JamesDShaw.com is where you can get information on that. JamesDShaw.com. That's my paid mastermind community. Thanks for watching, and go implement the things Erica suggested, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.